Very good morning. This is once again your Prabhu Swaminathan, the founder and the Chief Heart Officer of AFMOI Academy for Market Orientation India. And today I am going to talk about something very interesting, which I am sure everybody would like it. Okay, I have a big question to everybody who is watching this. What do you think would be the most scarce resource in future as far as the entire world is concerned? Can you just take a few minutes and think for me? You guys thought water, you guys thought fresh air, you guys thought probably trees. Okay, keep all that thing aside. In my view, the most important and yet which is supposed to be very scarce even today is something called human trust. You know what? Listen to me, my dear friends. Okay, we belong to a different culture. We had a great heritage of human trust. Let me demonstrate with two examples. If you go back to our history of Tamil Dravidian culture, and then if you read how our ancient constructions of houses were there in villages, we have a concept called Tinai. Tinai is nothing but a raised elevated portion which is outside the house, which is built specifically for people who are trespassers, who travel for a long distance. If they want to rest, they don't have to go to a hotel or something which was not there by the time, but they can rest in any house. And in fact, if anybody rests in that house, okay, it is a responsibility, and people took it as a responsibility of serving them with food and water in those days. It is not about a construction. It is not about the architecture here I am talking about. There is something which is huge behind, which is the human architecture which is designed behind this construction. What is this human architecture all about? This human architecture is reinforced very strongly with fundamental values, something called human trust. Imagine a situation, okay, where you have some 100 crore rupees in your house. Imagine a situation, you have a young, beautiful girl in your house, but still you have constructed something in your house which allowed a common strange person to come and stay at your house, outside your house, okay, at night, and take rest and serve the food and then go back on the next day. What does it signify? It signifies that what these humans, the society and the people had on each other, it is something called the basic and very strong fundamental value called human trust. Another example is something called Virundombal. Virundombal is nothing but how you treat your guest, just typically the hospitality in the house. In fact, Deva Pullavar called Thiruvalluvar has written a lot of things on Virundombal, in that he highlights one Tirukural in which he says, even if it is an elixir, if you have a guest in your house, you should serve them first, and only after that, if there is anything remains, you are eligible to have it. And if you don't do it, that's the biggest crime. That's what he says. Which means, think about the kind of hospitality, mentality and the culture and the values that what we had, and imagine the way that our society was completely reinforced with this value called trust. Now come to the today's scenario. Let me give a hypothetical example that you and I are traveling in a public transport, and the seat is very empty early in the morning, say around 7 o'clock, okay, and you boarded the bus and you found a window seat which is an empty seat, and you occupy, and then you are relaxed, and then you are coming, you have a bag with you, okay. Half an hour passes, the next bus stop comes, and you have a guy who's coming probably in a not very attractive costume, and he comes and sits next to you. What do? How does your mind react by the time? You know what? 90% of the times, let me tell you, sorry, excuse me, my dear friends, 90% of the times, let me tell you, okay, our mind raises a doubt. Should we trust this guy? Why is he coming and sitting next to me? Okay, now what we immediately do is, okay, we pull our wallet very safe, and if there is any bag that we are having it very close to our legs, probably we want to ensure it is very safe. Now imagine a situation where we let our strangers come and stay in our house, probably 1,000 years back, and now we are in a situation that we can't even trust somebody who's sitting next to us in a bus. Now the big question is, for me, what made this transformation? Excuse me. What made this transformation to happen? Whether it's a positive transformation or a negative transformation, that is debatable. For me, it is definitely a negative transformation, because if you don't trust the society around you, because man is a social animal, and if you don't have that trust on the fellow social human beings, I think we are heading towards a very, very dangerous scenario. In my view, I actually saw a couple of things which could possibly be the reasons. which we have to rethink. And again, it is my own perspective, and I'm not saying that this is an universal perspective and it is a universal truth. Okay, you wake up early in the morning, you receive a newspaper. What do you read on the headlines, and what do you read on the second page? What do you read on the third page? I can definitely guarantee you, okay, one would be about a scandal, two would be about harassment, maybe a rape incident, maybe a murder, or maybe something which is illegal happening. And 90% of our news, whatever we read through media and other things, okay, talks about negative. I do understand that all these things are happening in the society. I do understand that these things are to be brought to light, but that's not the society as a whole. That is very, very minimal part of society. In my view, there are a lot of good things happening. It could happen next door to you. Silently, somebody who is in your next flat would be contributing significant amount of a salary to an orphanage. Silently, somebody who is in the next street, okay, would be adopting a girl, and then a girl child or a boy child, and then they would be upbringing that kid. Okay, and if the people in and around you have so many pockets of good things, okay, are all these things being highlighted in media? I'm not expecting media to highlight this. I'm not saying that is media's responsibility. I'm only saying, okay, just because 95% of the times if we get exposed to all these negatives in medias, even the casual discussions and debates and things, it doesn't mean that the world around us is so bad. The world around us is so good. Let me put a very simple question. I have a dad, I have a mother, I have a brother, and if you are a girl, imagine that you have your elder brother. How much you love your elder brother, how much you love your younger brother. But imagine the same elder brother or younger brother goes and stands in a bus stop, and what does the world advise the rest of the young girls to say? The world says, be careful with guys outside, but not, how can a brother who is so good to you in your house can be so bad to somebody else outside? Okay, I do understand there are exceptions. I do understand there are eccentric cases, but eccentric cases and exceptions can never be the perfect example to learn something. What is life all about? We are not going to learn something out of eccentric cases, because those are aberrations. Okay, in my view, I would say the world is so beautiful outside. You go to a petrol bank, okay, you will see a 35-year, 40-year-old middle-aged women, coming in, serving the petrol early in the morning by 7 o'clock. Just imagine for a while, this middle-aged woman would have a young kid going to a school. And she comes there and serves, petrol for you at 7:30 a.m. in the morning. And, she actually does a lot of sacrifice for the family. Go to a bus stop, you will see a middle-aged man, with all this sweat and this hot sun, carrying a water bottle in one side, carrying a fruit in the other side, carrying office bag in the other side, and then waiting for the crowded bus. And then in that crowded bus, he boards the bus and then he goes to office. Everything he carries the responsibility of the family. Okay, everybody inside are so good. Everybody inside are so responsible. Everybody inside are so concerned about others. Everybody inside longs to trust the other person. But unfortunately, the complete reinforcement of negatives around us, in my view, my dear friends, I would say, there is a lot of lack of trust around us, around the fellow being. But in my personal opinion, the world is not so bad. The world is still good. All that we need a different eye. Take some time before judging somebody based on all our experiences and exposure. Take some time. There could be some good in everybody whoever we meet. And if you ask me, it is not some good, there is always many good in them. The world is so beautiful. The people around us are so trustworthy. Okay? Let's not look at the prism let's not wear the spectacle of doubt or suspicion. Okay? And then, spoil our future generation by projecting to them that the world is so bad. Let's not leave the future with the scarcity of something called human trust. I know there are certain things which are not controllable. Maybe it could be water, it could be air, because these are all natural resources. At times, natural resources cannot be controlled, we cannot have a control by all the signs that we have. A lot of natural calamities which can happen. But there is something that we can control, which is the thoughts and the trust that what we should pass on to the fellow human beings and the next generation. In my view, let's pass on, a trustworthy environment, a trustworthy culture, the foundation value of trust on fellow human beings to the next generation. And let's have a beautiful world and let's have a beautiful day. Thank you so much. This is Prabhu Swaminathan once again signing off, founder and chief heart officer of AFMOI, Academy for Market Orientation India, the purpose-driven training brand of LAFOS Talent Solutions India Private Limited. Please do visit our page www.afmoi.in to know more about us. Thank you so much.